can see, and so can anybody watching from home. Yeah. All right, so the area that we're talking about this evening is there. It is near the corner of Sweet Potato and Main Street, and the area is circled. It is bounded by Inglewood to the south and Union to the north. If you go to the next slide, and then there's a look at the development around the area. And the next slide, please. The current zoning for this space is RSD, which is residential single family, and then it has the Clayton Improvement District overlay over that RSD zoning. If you can go to the next slide. And then this is what the future land use plan calls for, which is, it's called Winger Village. And it is a mix of flex, residential, and then single-family attached homes with some park space. With the Clayton Improvement District, our code requires that anything over 5 acres or that creates more than 5 parcels be zoned a PDD. So if this does move forward, it will have to go through the Planning Commission process and then come back before council as a PDD.
And for those here tonight, can you please explain the difference between PDD and residential?
Sure. Well, a PDD can be residential, and that is what they're proposing. But a PDD is a planned development with the city. It allows a little more flexibility for both the developer and the city to be able to negotiate and to work things into a plan that both parties want. So with that, I'll turn it over to Matt Gatson. I do. They're working on it.
Oh, that's better. There we go. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Excuses for technical difficulties. We'll be with you in just a minute here.
Since it's a PDF, they may have to tab through for you because I don't think it'll.
Okay, yeah. So, again, my name is Matt Gaston. I'm with Shinnicky Development Group. Shinnicky Development Group is primarily a residential developer based out of Cincinnati, Ohio, but we have experience in hotels and retail as well. You can scroll down, just scroll down. So right now, we've got 3 large projects down in Cincinnati. Cricket Tree Preserve in Mason, Deer Run, Reserve at Deer Run in west side of Cincinnati, and Harvest Meadows in Batavia. And then we've done a lot of different, our principals have done a lot of different development in retail and hotel as well, but our primary focus now is single-family residential. Go down. So, you know, I just wanted to kind of take a step back, and just in general, housing is a big issue, I think, across the whole state. Prices have gone up a lot, and there's a lot of factors that have gone into that. Right now, there's just not nearly as many listings, just because most people have their 3% mortgage and a 4% mortgage, so why would you move? So in that, it reduces, you know, the active sales that are listed today versus 2016, it's 70% less. So just the chances for somebody to move into a house has been dramatically reduced. Just the Dayton region in whole has been lagging in new construction just to keep up with replacement and, you know, small population growth by about 500 units a year since the recession in 2007. And then just in general, developing attainable housing has not really been a focus for most home builders, just because there hasn't been a need. There's been an existing homes usually met that requirement. Today, that's not the case. And so getting something that people can actually buy that's, you know, $270,000 to $400,000, which is still a ton of money, but cheaper than almost every other new construction out there, is really important in keeping housing costs down. So go down next. So just as overview, as Amanda showed, this is a project location. It's about 183 acres on the south side of Sweet Potato Road, just west of Main Street. And just, again, overview of where the project is located in relation to Plan Clayton and the current zoning, which is residential single unit. Just as a reference, the base zoning allows for 60-foot minimum lot size at 0.15 acre is the base zoning. So that's just the base zoning. So as we can go to the next slide, the minimum lot size is not actually, we're not that much smaller than the actual minimum lot size. But our open space, we're showing, 67 acres of open space and a density of about 3 units per acre. So on the plan, we show 50 by 130 lots, and then a 68 by 130. Those would be what we would call a paired patio. They're a duplex, single floor, more of a, empty nester, retiree, age in place home. Then the yellow is 55 by 130. That would be what Fisher calls Maple Street. It's their entry-level home. It's, $290,000 to $400,000, depending on how much you add on to it. And then the light green is what they call designer, which is kind of their move-up buyer, a little bit higher end finishes, a little bit bigger houses. So it's a big site, and so we try to put a plan together to start a conversation, but obviously, there's a lot of space that we can work with to kind of fit this plan into what Plan Clayton shows, and to, make something that the community can be happy that is developed. We show community pool, parks, walking trails, trying to preserve as much of the existing trees on the site. Most of it is a cornfield and soybean field today, but still, and then all the site drains to the north, so keeping the retention on the north side of the property along Sweet Potato. Besides, there is one little area on the southwest that drains that way, so we'll have detention in that area as well.
What's the parentheses with the 166?
So it's like a duplex, so it's a 0 lot line.
And those would be where at?
In the middle, the light orange or red.
So then altogether, 489 units. No, even more than that.
Yes, more, it'd be, I think it's 555.
489 plus 166.
Yeah, so that's where the density of 3 units per acre total gets to. And we have about almost 40% open space, and, you know, there's plenty to discuss and try to move around to
So 655 units total.
555. Yeah, no, not you don't add there should be.
100 plus 165 plus 124 plus
that-
100 plus
that-
166.
That 100 shouldn't be there. That 100 should just be at the
Okay.
166. Should be 555 total. And then next. So these are examples of the paired patio, the Maple Street, and the designer. This is Fisher Homes. We do a lot of work with Fisher across the Cincinnati market and up here in Dayton as well. And they build a really nice house. So we love partnering with them. One thing that we would like to incorporate in the 50 by 130 is having that as like a build-to-rent facility. So something that was like, is a rental, but detached, single family. So it's spread out. It's not nearly as dense as a apartment complex, but gives the community a mix of different, you know, housing stock to meet the demand of the market. You go to that next slide, and there's just some examples of what those houses could look like.
Who own, and then do you guys retain ownership of all the rentals?
We would not, no. We would work with a builder that would take that ownership. We would just deliver lots to the builder.
And is the rental part contingent on this happening, or
No,
could that part be scratched?
We'll open to feedback, so. Go to the next. But just in conclusion, you know, we're really excited. It's a 183 acre parcel, and we're trying to fit it into Plan Clayton, into the existing zoning, and to make something that makes sense for the community. It's right next to Main Street. We feel like the infrastructure is there to actually, you know, sustain development, and it's not out in the middle of nowhere. But looking forward to hearing any feedback or suggestions.
I got a question for you, Matt.
Yep.
If you took away all the green space in your layout, what would the density be? Have you looked at that? Or do you know that?
I don't know that off the top of my head, but engineers, I'll try.
You can get
I'll-
back
I'll
to
get
me on
you in
that.
about 30 seconds.
Do we have any other questions from council?
Is this also contingent on a TIF?
I wouldn't say it's contingent. I mean, I would think the public amenities would definitely be pared back if there was not a TIF, you know, because there wouldn't be the funding to put in as nice or as big of a park or, you know, as many public use facilities. It's just under 5 units per acre without the open space. So just as a reference, the development to the north, well, the subdivision, that's 4 units per acre.
And then, did you have a question?
There's no,
Yeah, so you said the southwest corner, that's just going to remain green or basically
Yeah,
for water
I mean-
retention?
the rock's pretty low down there, so I would say it would be a nice field, but we could do lots of different things down there.
Any other questions?
These houses are built on a slab, obviously
The
no,
vast majority will be.
no basement.
Yeah, the western portion has rock a little bit lower, and those are kind of where we put the more expensive home, the designer, which some of those might have basements, but they'll know that going into that, into that.
What price point are we looking at?
For the designer, it would be, that's a 400 to 600. Maple Street is 290 to 400, and then the paired patio is 270 to 300.
Would and maybe this is for the builder to decide, are these going to be built basically like per order okay.
So the Fisher usually puts in a couple speculative buildings, but most of them are essentially
yeah.
custom, not
What-
custom homes, but
Similar to
the
what Arbor is
requi-
doing.
yeah,
Yeah,
for the
similar to what
requ-
Arbor is doing in Westbrook.
per the request of the owner.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion to close the workshop then.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. A motion by Ryan and a second by Brendan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Opposed? We consider the workshop closed. Thank you.
Thank you.